Raphael didn't know where to begin. He had just found out that his friend Michiru Sakurai had a crush on him this whole time, and he didn't even know it until his family pointed out to him. It was embarrassing enough that they all knew this whole time, but the fact that he only realized his feelings for her now while she was away in Japan made it worse. It also didn't help that she was gone for an entire month and wouldn't be returning until next week, which made Raphael pine for her even more. Sure, his relationship with Michiru soured after she became hard on Leonardo to the point of making him run away from home, but it was restored once Leo came back from hiding and forgave Michiru for her harsh behavior. At the same time, Raph began to feel regret for giving her the cold shoulder when she tried to apologize for the whole mess and remained angry with her up until Leo returned. Though they did make up with one another over the whole issue with Leo, Raphael couldn't help but wonder if he was even worthy of Michiru's love after all that. April and Mikey insisted that Michiru was in love with me for months, with Leo even saying that he also left because he didn't want to get in the way of our potential romance. I mean, we weren't even dating at that time, so he really didn't need to do all that. Not to mention, Donnie told me about how, according to his calculations, we were practically compatible with a 95% chance of being together. And if what Dad and Draxum said was true, both Michiru and I have been giving off smells that all but state that we want to be together. The fact that everyone knew except me is both embarrassing and humiliating. Ugh. Raphael groaned as he continued to walk the dark streets of New York. He felt that he needed to take a walk in order to clear his head, along with trying to deal with the newfound feelings he had for his friend, hence why he was outside of the sewers and not in his room. It was a good thing that night came when it did, especially since he really needed to get out of the house, or rather, the sewers that he called home. Otherwise, he'd be subjected to more playful teasing and comments from his family, with his father's insistence on wanting grandchildren still fresh on his mind. Since it wasn't too cold, nor were there a lot of people outside at the moment, he felt that he didn't need to wear clothes this time, nor did he have to stick to the shadows like before. It also helped that it was still pretty warm, but with a slight breeze in the air due to the summer season, and a breath of fresh air was what he needed after such an embarrassing experience. He knew his family meant well and that they were just being supportive, but even then, it was a bit much. Though there was the possibility of him getting ambushed or attacked by either human, mutant, or yokai threats, he figured he could handle them since he brought a Sai with him just in case. I don't know a single thing about romance, and yet I ended up falling in love with my own friend, Raphael fretted as he continued to walk down the dark, empty streets of New York. I mean, sure, she's pretty talented, not to mention a better ninja than I'll ever be, but am I even worthy of her at all? Then again, if what Casey said was true about how in the future humans and mutants got together romantically even after the Krang started to destroy the Earth, could that even work between me and Michiru? Raphael continued to walk down the empty road while pondering over how to deal with his romantic feelings for Michiru. I mean, I wouldn't mind having kids of my own, he continued, but to have them with Michiru seems like a pipe dream if you ask me. At the same time, however, if my dad's human DNA could potentially make it work. What am I thinking? Even though I do love Michiru, I don't know if she still has feelings for me. After the way I treated her for what she did to Leo and how I failed to pick up on the obvious signs up until now, I wouldn't blame her for giving up on me. I might as well just throw in the towel while I'm still at it. As he said this, he approached a nearby bus stop that was stationed near an alleyway, the kind that naturally included a large dumpster bin, along with some black garbage bags strewn about near the middle. He decided to take a short break from walking by standing next to the inner wall of the alleyway and leaning against it so he could think more clearly about how to approach Michiru with his newfound feelings for her. What am I going to do? He groaned as he slid against the wall until he found himself sitting on the cold ground. How am I going to tell her about how I feel at this point? Is something bothering you? A voice suddenly called out, causing Raphael to squeal in a very high pitched tone as he scrambled to get back up and instinctively pulled out his sign in defense. To his surprise and fear, he saw that the source of the voice didn't come from a yokai or even a mutant, but rather it came from a man, or more specifically, a human male who was sitting on the bus stop seat while seemingly staring at Raphael with a curious expression. Raphael's heart dropped to his stomach while he cursed himself for not being more stealthy and secure. Oh crap! Raphael thought to himself in fear. I've been caught! By a human of all things! Oh, this is bad. This is very, very bad! He's gonna tell everyone about me, and then we'll all be in trouble! I can't let him know about my brothers and dad. Maybe if I can find some way to knock him down and make him think it's all a dream, then I can get away and... You okay there, buddy? The man asked with concern in his tone. You seem quiet all of a sudden. Are you all right? Huh? Raphael asked in surprise as the man's voice snapped him out of his thoughts. Yes, I'm just positively peachy right now. Yes, that's what I am. Raphael could only hope that the man didn't see through his forced grin as he got up to slowly approach the man without scaring him. The man continued to stare at him with suspicion, but didn't say anything, which only made Raphael even more on edge, with his sweating not making things any easier. I just hope he doesn't smell my fear stink right now, Raphael internally pleaded as he stood there with his sai still in his hands. He had no intention of hurting the man, as he happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but Raphael couldn't let this man leave without potentially telling other people about the existence of mutants, thus leading to more mass panic and hysteria than already needed. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that the man was wearing sunglasses for some reason, and they were black sunglasses too. Not just that, the man held a cane in his left hand and was wearing a gray business suit as well. Finally, the man appeared to be a redhead with fair skin and a slightly chiseled face, but without facial hair whatsoever. Overall, he looked like any other average human that could easily blend into the crowd. Is he handicapped or something? The big burly turtle thought to himself with curiosity and concern. I wonder what happened to him that made him need a cane in the first place. And why is he wearing sunglasses of all things? It's nighttime. Raphael couldn't help but feel curious, so he decided to test the waters by asking the man a couple things without giving away his fears. So, he began in a nervous tone, what's the deal with the sunglasses, mister? It's already night outside, even if the moon, stars, and streetlights are providing enough light for us. Isn't it too dark to be wearing those right now? Oh, that, the man responded with a light chuckle. I mostly wear these to keep the harsh light from my eyes, even at night. Have to make sure my eyes are protected since, well, I can't see anything at all. So you're blind? Raphael asked in surprise and sympathy, while also being secretly relieved that his secret didn't get out yet. I'm sorry to hear about that. I had no idea. It's fine, the now blind man assured him. You didn't know. I'm not really one to publicly announce my handicap to the world for the sake of attention. At the same time, I don't want people pitying me so much and only know me as the guy who can't see anything, hence why I wear these to show that I'm approachable in my own way. Well, that and my eyes are very sensitive to sunlight, along with any form of bright light that comes my way. Ah, I see. Makes sense, Raphael responded, understanding. I actually have a friend who wears glasses too, though she's more nearsighted if anything else, and doesn't wear sunglasses a lot. Lucky her, the man chuckled. At least she is capable of seeing things, whereas I can't, or at least not anymore. I see, Raphael responded awkwardly as to not sound rude. So you used to be able to see? Well, yes, I did, the blind man revealed. When I was born, I used to be able to see just fine without any issues. That was until an accident happened that cost me my sight forever. Ooh, ouch. Sorry you had to go through all that, Raphael responded sympathetically, though I do feel sorry that he had to lose his sight and feel a bit guilty over how glad I am that he can't see me. It's probably for the best that he doesn't know what I look like, the red turtle thought to himself with both guilt and relief. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but I couldn't help but overhear you talking about something earlier, the blind man revealed, making Raphael tense up yet again. Apologies for eavesdropping on you, but I believe you mentioned something about a girl? Raphael felt his heart drop to his stomach, while his eyes widened over the fact that the man heard part of his rambling. He could only pray that the man didn't somehow smell the stress sweat pouring out of his skin while wanting to beat himself up for saying all that stuff in front of him. Dear me and my stupid big mouth! Raphael cursed himself internally as he realized that the man had overheard him mention his crush. I just hope he didn't hear me say anything even more incriminating, like I'm from a family of mutants. Okay, just stay cool, big guy. Just try to talk to the man without giving away anything related to your mystic ninja mutant background. Do not say anything about the hideout, the sanctuary, and especially not Hidden City. Just take deep breaths and stay cool. Raphael did just that before finally deciding to speak up. Yes, you'd be correct on that, Raphael responded in a calm yet slightly monotone voice to not give away his fear right now, while also putting on his best poker face despite not needing to. I am, in fact, having some girl trouble, you could say. Is that so? The man asked with intrigue while placing his chin on the handle of his cane with interest. Do tell if you don't mind, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's not my business. No, it's fine, Raphael assured him. I was just rambling, that's all. So I see, the blind man responded as he continued to sit on the bench. Don't mind me then. I'm just waiting for my bus to arrive, that's all. Oh, okay then, Raphael responded as he continued to stand there, unsure of what to do next. Usually I don't talk about this kind of stuff with anyone, except maybe my brothers and friends, Raphael thought to himself as he continued to stare at the man while looking around to make sure he wasn't being followed by anyone. At the same time, however, for some weird reason, I feel like I can trust this man somehow. Is that a mystical ability of his or something else entirely? Or is he that charismatic for whatever reason? At the same time, I don't want him to be some secret enemy who could track me down or have ulterior motives as to why he's so friendly towards me. Either way, I have to be very careful around him. Still, I feel like I'm gonna explode if I don't talk to someone about my feelings for Michiru other than my family and friends. I guess it wouldn't hurt to talk about something as harmless as a crush to him, as if I can avoid revealing that I'm a mutant and a ninja in the process. You still there, buddy? The blind man suddenly asked, causing Raphael to tense up as he was once again put on the spot. You've been quiet for a while, and it feels like you haven't moved from your spot either. Is something on your mind? Well, Raphael began in an unsure tone as he tried to think of a way to tell the blind man without giving away too much of himself or his loved ones. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. The thing is, I may have developed a crush on a girl that I've been friends with for a while, only to now realize that she had been crushing on me this whole time, and I didn't have a clue about it until my family told me. Once Raphael finished his sentence as fast as he could before clamping up, the man stared at him with what appeared to be surprise before the man started to chuckle. The blind man threw his head back and laughed, which caused no end of embarrassment for the red turtle, who could only blush furiously. Oh, come on, man! Raphael shouted in frustration and mortification. My family really laughed at me when I told them the same thing. Cut me some slack, will ya? Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, the blind man assured him while trying to collect himself. I just found it way too relatable when it came to my own love life, along with the love lives of others. Is that so? Raphael asked with intrigue, to which the man responded by nodding and grinning casually. Oh, yeah, you would not believe the hassle I went through when it came to the woman I fell in love with. She's actually a secretary who works alongside me with an old buddy of mine. At the same time, she was also a dear friend of mine who I could trust even when I tried to deny my feelings for her out of respect for my other friend who also had a crush on her. So, you ended up in a love triangle situation? Raphael asked with worry, to which the blind man responded with a nod. Sadly, yes, he responded with a slight frown. It did cause some tension between us, as my male friend had feelings for her, but she didn't return them at all due to only seeing him as a brother, if anything else. Ironically enough, I thought she was better off with him because he seemed more normal compared to me. Not to mention, unlike me, he still had his vision and wasn't blind like I was, so that didn't really help with my issues. Sheesh, that sounded tough. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Raphael replied in sympathy. No, it's fine. It worked out pretty well, actually, the blind man revealed, surprising the turtle. Really? How? He asked out of curiosity. As it turns out, my male friend actually decided to pair me and my female friend together, as he saw just how much we loved each other, even if we couldn't admit it back then. It also helped that when he saw just how much I was willing to sacrifice my own happiness for his, and decided to opt out of pursuing her so I could have a chance. Eventually, after much encouragement from my male friend, I was finally able to gain the courage to confess to the woman I loved, and we've been together ever since. Aw, that's sweet, Raphael responded with a smile. But what happened to your male friend? Are you guys still friends? Oh, don't worry, we are, the blind man assured the big turtle. In fact, he managed to get himself a girlfriend of his own and even married her. To this day, they're still together and happy as can be. Neat, Raphael responded in relief. And what about you and your girlfriend? How are you doing so far? The man looked up at Raphael before revealing his left hand, which had been covered by his right hand earlier while holding his cane, only to reveal a shiny golden wedding band on his ring finger. Raphael's eyes widened in shock before smiling happily. Oh, you got married! Congrats! Raphael cried out in pleasant surprise, making the man flinch a bit, causing Raph to clamp his mouth shut in regret. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Thankfully, the blind man didn't hold against him as he waved it off with his right hand. It's fine, the blind man responded casually. I probably should have warned you in advance that my hearing is a lot more sensitive now due to my blindness. Ah, right, makes sense, Raphael responded in embarrassment while scratching his neck awkwardly. At least you managed to get the girl of your dreams. I highly doubt that I'll be able to achieve something like that with the girl I know. Really? Why not? The blind man asked with concern, causing Raphael to sigh. It's just, Raphael began in a somber tone. I feel like she's on a completely different level compared to me. She's smart, skilled, not to mention a great cook, and she's so, let me guess, pretty, the blind man inquired. Beautiful! Raphael exclaimed, making the blind man grin in response. No, scratch that! She's gorgeous! Her hair is as smooth as silk, it shines like the night sky, and her eyes, her smile. Oh man, I just can't stop thinking about her. All I want to do is spend time with her, go on dates with her, or even marry her if I could. I can't believe it took me this long to realize that I had feelings for her, and she had feelings for me as well. I probably sound like a complete idiot, don't I? I wouldn't say you're an idiot, the blind man assured him. You're just new to this whole romance thing. It's just a normal part of growing up. Believe me, I was just like you when I developed my first crush. You have that feeling of butterflies in your stomach when you're around your friend? Yes, Raphael responded almost instantly. Do you feel hot and sweaty while also blushing a lot? Yes. And do you feel the need to talk to her only to stutter and stammer while you're at it? Yes, and yes. There you go. That's just the normal responses to your first crush, the blind man explained. So tell me, how exactly did you come to realize it? Realize that you were in love with your female friend? Oh, this is a tough one, Raphael thought to himself in a panic. I can't tell him that Michiru and her family are actual ninjas with mystical abilities. I have to be careful with what I say without giving away too much. Well, Raphael began in a slightly nervous tone as he tried to think of a way to explain his relationship with Michiru without revealing her secret as a ninja. You see, it all started around a few months back. Me and my family were dealing with some crooks who attacked us out of nowhere when she came along and helped us get out of our sticky situation. Is she in law enforcement or something? The blind man asked out of curiosity. Yes and no, Raphael explained as carefully as he could. Let's just say she's a crime fighter, but not necessarily part of the police force. Ah, I see. So she's a vigilante of some kind, the blind man deduced. Something like that? Raphael responded nervously. Anyways, after she saved us, we ended up befriending her and eventually met up with the rest of her family. Over time, she and her family became very close friends of ours, and we've been able to stay on pretty good terms. That is until an incident happened. Really? What kind? The blind man asked with worry. You see, one of my brothers had a fight with our female friend due to her not approving of his rather lazy and arrogant attitude. It didn't help that they never got along compared to me and my other family members since the day they first met. What made her hate him so much? The blind man asked with concern. Was there a love triangle between you and him? What? No! Raphael exclaimed while waving his hands frantically. It wasn't anything like that at all. It was just... There was another incident that happened about a year ago involving me and my brother. It's a long story and we don't like to talk about it considering how traumatic it was for both of us. Let's just say it involved some more bad guys who tried to kill us over an artifact that we were trying to protect. The fact that I got injured and captured during said incident didn't really help either. I see, the blind man responded in a disturbed and sympathetic tone. I'm terribly sorry you had to go through that, both you and your brother. It's fine, Raphael assured him. We're okay now and all's forgiven between us. Unfortunately, our female friend misunderstood the whole situation and thought my brother deliberately abandoned me to die just to save his own skin, even after he apologized for the mess he caused. Though she meant well and was trying to help him in her own cruel-to-be-kind way, he ended up running away from home for an entire week due to issues that he never told us about until later. While he was gone, I angrily blamed my friend for causing my brother to run away and gave her the silent treatment for the week, even after she apologized and did everything she could to help find him. Though it was partially her fault that my brother ran away, a part of me regrets how cold I was towards her during that whole mess. Personally, I think you did the right thing. You were just trying to show her how wrong she was to treat your brother like that, the blind man assured him. Even if she was your friend, that doesn't give her the right to judge your brother for his mistakes to the point of making him run away from home. Even so, she told me about how she didn't mean to make my brother run away and was going to apologize to him had he not left in the middle of the night, Raphael revealed. But back then, I was too angry to listen to her and assumed she was just trying to make herself feel better by joining the search parties. Wait a minute, was your brother's name Leonardo by any chance? The blind man asked, much to Raphael's surprise. And did he have red markings on his face or something? Yes, he did, Raphael responded with shock. How do you know? I remember a few weeks back while I was walking along the street and met a girl who asked me if I had seen anyone named Leonardo and described him as having red markings on his face. Sadly, I wasn't of much help due to my blindness, though the girl understood and didn't hold it against me. Oh, wow. I wonder who asked you that, Raphael asked, to which the blind man shrugged in response. Oh, right, I forgot you're blind. Sorry. I wonder if it was April or even Cassandra who asked him, if not Michiru herself, Raphael wondered as he became even more curious as to who this blind man was. Anyways, Raphael continued as he wished to get back on track. Once we managed to find my brother, who was staying in Staten Island of all places, we were able to bring him back home while my friend finally apologized to him for the way she treated him. Thankfully, he was willing to forgive her, despite having every reason to stay mad at her, and they've been close friends ever since. Not just that, me and my friend were able to finally make up with each other and continue to stay friends, even after the whole incident. What do you know? A happy ending, the blind man responded. But why were you so troubled earlier? I thought you managed to make up with your female friend. I did, Raphael confirmed, but her family was not happy when they found out about her role in my brother's disappearance and sent her to Japan as punishment. Ooh, ouch, the blind man cringed. I guess they wanted to teach her a lesson for the way she acted towards her brother. Yes, they did, Raphael confirmed, with a nod. But don't take this the wrong way. I assure you, they're not abusive or anything. They just really strict with her, if not extremely traditional when it comes to punishing their family members. Don't worry, I understand, the blind man assured him. They simply wish for her to not make the same mistake again. I could see why they had to be hard on her, even if sending her all the way to another country was a bit extreme. Well, they also said that my friend agreed to the terms of her punishment, as she still had yet to forgive herself for what happened with my brother, even after we assured her that all was forgiven. She's been gone for an entire month and is supposed to be coming back next week, Raphael responded. I see, the blind man replied. So you had a falling out with your friend over your brother going missing, but made up with her after your brother returned. I can see why things have been a bit awkward between you two. Even so, you said that all was forgiven and that you made up with each other, yet you're still troubled over your feelings for her. Why is that? Raphael remained silent for a while before taking a deep breath and continuing his story. I'm just worried that she won't return my feelings now that she's away. She had feelings for me first, but I never picked up on it until after my family told me, and by the time they did tell me, she was already gone by then. I feel like kicking myself even further for not realizing just how much she meant to me until after she was gone. I mean, I definitely felt something for her when we hung out in the past, but I didn't even realize what that feeling was until now. Not just that, I don't even know if a romantic relationship between us is possible, considering how different we are from each other. What do you mean by different? The blind man asked in confusion, tilting his head with curiosity. Raphael became tense as he didn't know what else to say without giving his background. Well, let's just say we're of a different race, and I'm not entirely sure if her family or anyone in the world would approve us being together, Raphael explained as carefully as he could. But didn't your family approve it at least? The blind man pointed out. They did, Raphael responded, or at least they approved of it after I told them about how I felt about my friend. But it's her family who doesn't know about my feelings for her, and I don't know how to break it to them without making it weird, and I certainly don't know how to confess to her without messing it up or making our relationship even more awkward than it already is. As Raphael said all of that, he stood there nervously while the blind man continued to sit down and take all this in. Silence remained between the two men yet again for a couple of minutes, as the big turtle didn't know how the man would respond to such a dramatic story. After a few minutes had passed, the blind man finally responded. That is quite a lot, the blind man began. So you fell in love with your friend, even after the whole incident with your brother, which she took responsibility and apologized for, only to lose that chance to tell her due to her family banishing her to Japan. Is that correct? Yeah, that's basically the gist of it, Raphael confirmed with a nod. I see, the blind man responded. Not just that, you fear that you were unworthy of her love after your relationship had become strained, along with your fears that she might have moved on while she was away, and her family would not approve of a romantic relationship between you two, correct? Yes, sir, Raphael confirmed with a nod. I just don't know how to deal with these newfound feelings of mine without being so scared. Ah, see, that's where your problem lies, the blind man responded, catching Raphael's attention. Huh? he responded with his head tilted in curiosity. You let your own fears and insecurities get in the way of your feelings for her, the blind man responded. You need to let go of those fears and insecurities so you can be more confident in your pursuit of her. I almost let my own fears and insecurities get the best of me to the point where I nearly lost my chances at being with the woman I loved, so I would advise that you not let those negative thoughts do the same thing to you. But still, Raphael responded with doubt, how am I supposed to tell her family, let alone her, about my feelings? What if they don't approve? What if she rejects me because of it? From my experience, the key to winning the heart of the girl you love and to show that you have what it takes to be with her is to be confident, but also honest about how you feel. Communication is key, after all. Right, communication. One of my brothers mentioned something about that too. See? You have people who are willing to support you. Not to mention, you made up with your friend, who clearly has feelings for you too. So why are you holding back now? Why all this doubt in your heart? The blind man questioned with sincerity, causing Raphael to think carefully. Good question. Why am I so afraid? He thought to himself with curiosity and confusion. The only reason why it took me this long to realize I love her now was because she had left to undergo remedial training in Japan out of guilt for hurting Leo. Also, there's the plan that my family has, which involves meeting up with the Sakurai clan and asking for permission to visit Michiru before she returns. What should I do? Should I take that chance? Will Michiru even want to see me after what happened? And don't worry about whether other people will approve of your relationship or not, the blind man responded. I'm sure she would be more than happy to see you and accept your feelings for her, given that she had feelings for you first. You think so? Raphael asked hopefully. I know so, the man responded with a nod and a grin. And even if you're both of different backgrounds, I'm sure her family would accept you, since you did mention that your family is close with hers after all. That is true, I did say that, Raphael responded with a slight chuckle. Besides, I doubt that anyone would judge you for having feelings for her, even if you are a mutant, the blind man continued. That's fair, Raphael began. I wouldn't want to judge anyone for... That was when he immediately stopped talking, the moment he realized what the man had just said. His eyes widened as he turned back to face the blind man, who was giving him a casual grin, as if he didn't drop a major bombshell on the turtle just now. Wait a minute, Raphael responded in a tense tone, while trying to control his rapidly beating heart. How did you know I was a mutant? The blind man gave him a slight chuckle that wasn't sinister, but it wasn't exactly innocent either, before revealing his answer. Just because I'm blind, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm stupid, he responded casually. But you shouldn't be able to see me, let alone know what I look like, Raphael nearly shouted while trying to maintain his quiet tone out of fear of getting caught. How long have you known? Enough, the blind man responded. Sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but I wanted to maintain a form of civility between us in case you tried to attack me. Fair point, Raphael muttered with embarrassment. Even so, how did you manage to figure out I was a mutant and not human? I thought you said you were blind! Oh, I am blind, the man revealed, physically and legally speaking. A little joke I made right there, considering I'm a lawyer. Wait, you're a lawyer too? Raphael asked in surprise. Yes, I am, the man revealed. And before you ask, no, I am not one of those corrupt lawyers who try to help criminals get off the hook. I have a very strong moral compass that was instilled in me by my family and friends, and only defend truly innocent people. Oh, that's good, Raphael responded in a relieved tone. Still, that doesn't answer my question. How exactly did you find out that I was a mutant despite being blind? Do you have some kind of superpower or something? In a way, I do, the blind man explained. Remember how I told you that my hearing is very sensitive? Well, you see, ever since I became blind, I was able to sharpen and hone my other senses to the point where almost nobody notices that I'm visually impaired. My hearing and smell have especially become more sharp to the point where I could sense that there was something unique about you. Whoa, Raphael responded in amazement and embarrassment over not realizing that sooner. And I'm going to assume my natural instinct didn't help my case either. No, the blind man revealed. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about you being a mutant. Your secret's safe with me. Really? Oh, that's good, Raphael said, as he placed a hand against his chest in relief. For a moment there, I thought I'd have to knock you out non-lethally or something to make you not tell anyone. You don't need to worry about doing that, the blind man assured him. Besides, I technically can't see you, so even if I did tell someone about you, they wouldn't know what you look like, let alone believe me. Also, as a lawyer, I'm supposed to keep things confidential between me and my clients. That way it could serve as a convenient excuse for me to not tell anyone. Is that so? Huh, that's neat, Raphael said with amazement. Besides, everyone has their own secrets in life that they wish to hide, so it's not my place to out people like that without their knowledge or consent. You don't need to worry about other people finding out about you from me, the blind man said. Wow, thanks, Raphael said with a smile. I'm surprised you're willing to help me, despite having only just met me today. Why is that? Let's just say I have my own secrets to hide and know what it's like to keep them, the blind man said enigmatically before slowly getting up from his seat. Once he did that, he extended his hand out to Raphael with a kind smile, prompting the large turtle to tentatively accept it, only to feel his large hand being patted by the blind man's other hand. Don't feel so discouraged with the prospect of love, young one, the blind man assured him while giving him an encouraging smile. I know it may seem like a difficult hurdle for you now, but once you gain the courage to take that chance, it will all be worth it in the end. You're not alone in this, and I'm rooting for you to get together with that friend of yours. Go to her if you must, and show her how you feel. Raphael was amazed by the sincerity in the man's words, despite this being their first meeting, not to mention an accidental one too. The fact that he was willing to not only support Raphael's romantic feelings for Michiru, despite Raphael being immune and Michiru being a human, proved that there were indeed humans capable of accepting mutant-human relations in the world, besides April, Cassandra, Casey, Rat King, and the humans living at the sanctuary. Raphael couldn't help but smile and maybe tear up just a bit from the man's words before putting on a determined expression and giving the man a firm nod. Thanks, the turtle responded. I really needed that. You're welcome, the blind man responded. If you ever need any help, especially with your romantic problems, don't be afraid to call me. As he said this, he pulled out a small business card from his shirt pocket before handing it to Raph, who carefully took it while making sure not to accidentally rip it or crush it with his large fingers. Gee, thanks, mister, Raphael responded. I'll keep that in mind. You're welcome, the blind man assured him with a nod. Also, you might want to hide behind that garbage bin over there. My bus is about to arrive soon. Wait, what? Oh no! Raphael panicked as he turned to his left, only to see that there was indeed a bus coming, judging from the lights that peeked around the corner. As he gave a brief thanks to the man who was about to go hide, when he realized he forgot to ask one more thing. Oh, right, almost forgot. My name's Raphael. What's yours? It's Matt, the blind man revealed before giving a formal bow. Matt Murdoch, at your service. And it looks like my bus has arrived. Oh, right, almost forgot. Thanks for the heads up, Raphael responded as he ran behind the bin, and right as the bus finally came into view and was about to arrive where Matt was standing. Farewell, Raphael, the man, now known as Matt Murdoch, responded with a smile. It was a pleasure talking with you. I do hope we meet again someday. Yeah, you as well, Raphael said as he peeked behind the bin just a little bit so he could see the man off. Remember, don't let your fears get in the way of being with the girl you love. Just be confident and honest with her. That's all I can say. Other than that, have a good night. As Matt Murdoch said this, he gave one final nod before turning around, just as the bus finally arrived to pick him up. Once the bus opened its doors and carefully lowered itself so Matt could get on it without tripping himself, he managed to get on without any issue before the bus finally closed and drove off into the night. Raphael watched as the bus was finally out of sight, which left him all alone on the streets of New York once again. Bye, Mr. Murdoch, Raphael said as he gave a small wave despite the man being already gone. He then took another look at the man's business card, which said his name in clear, large black font, along with a small subtitle underneath saying, lawyer and co-founder of Nelson and Murdoch Law Firm. It also displayed the phone number along with the website address in case Raphael wanted to learn more about it, or at least give the lawyer a call. Matt Murdoch, huh? Raphael asked as he took a good look at the card. Never heard of him until now. Seems like a nice guy, not too shady like most lawyers are. I wonder if I'll ever see him again at some point. Probably not, considering my own life right now. Wouldn't hurt to give him a call someday. Guess I'll have to keep this with me for now, just in case. More importantly, I have to go talk with the Sakurai clan and ask for permission to meet up with Michiru in Japan. Hopefully they won't be too angry or annoyed with my request, but at the same time, I can't give in to my fears. Not tonight. In fact, I'm gonna go tell my family about my plans right now. As he said this, he immediately sprinted back home with renewed confidence, along with a goal to see Michiru and finally confess to her once and for all. He could only hope that his family would still be awake so he could discuss with them about his plans and not get mad at him for disturbing their slumber.